Yeah, because they're the only. They like both hiss. They both have like diamond shaped heads. Like snakes and cats have this. What if they're the same thing at different times? Like maybe Stanley's slithering around at night.
At night.
Because they like their energy. They see things we can't. Like she's always messing with. She always mess with Artie. That's why I know his spirit is around. Because he'll go mess. He messes with stuff the same way he messed with Artie. So I'm like, Artie's here. Like only we our eyes only see so much, but there's so much that can be seen. So I just started watching the X-Files. I never watched that show. And the way I remember it, the way I remember the X-Files, I thought it was on when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch it when it came out. Because I was busy living my life. Yeah, so I didn't watch the X-Files. So I thought it was on in high school when I was hanging out with my friends and we'd go to Harry's and drink coffee and smoke cigarettes all night. That we would, and then my buddy'd be like, they'd be like, "Where's Eric?" "Oh, it's X-Files night." "Oh, okay." But and then he would talk about this stuff, but I was just like, I don't care about this stuff. This don't matter to me. And I just was watching that. 35 minutes into the first episodes of the X-Files, and there's it already has like semblances of COVID. It has reminiscences because I have this whole theory that Hollywood exists in support of DC and organized religion, all to keep people in boxes, just so the people don't think for themselves. If we can get them to live for us, they'll never live for themselves. And so, but I had a pretty good. Well, basically, I annoy people and they want me to go away, basically. So because of that, I went outside and I played a lot. Because I'm just a lot. I have a lot of energy. I ask a lot of questions. I go, and that draws on people. It makes people tired to have to answer questions all the time. There's this lady on TikTok that has a little girl that the mom changes her name every day at 4:30. Well, it's a little, probably not every day, but she does this thing where she'll write her name on her board, and her kid's smart. She's like 2 years old. She can read and write and stuff like that. These new kids are way more advanced than these other ones. And so, and I was like, Mom, that was like me, because I remember my mom used to say, Mom, because I'd ask her questions a lot. Mom, she's right here. Mom's right here. Mom, say hi, Mom. And so, it'd be all Mom, and she'd get so sick of it, she'd just finally be like, there's nobody here by that name. So then I'd call her by her legal name, her colonist name, and then, like, that's when I learned about, like, surnames, married names, that people have all kinds of different names. And I was like, well, do they act different? Are they the same person and they just have a different name? Or do they become different people with different names? And adults could never answer these questions that I had. And they couldn't believe that I had these questions at such a young age, because it was advanced thinking. A lot of my thinking was more advanced than the adults that tested me. Because I was one of those tested, those freak people, those people, they just want to know how my brain works. I'm one of those psychic intuitives. And they want to know what I know. And they want to know if I know that they are bad people, and I do. Because bad people feel icky as much as they try to make themselves represent themselves as being decent humans or whatever they're trying to pull themselves off as. And like the veil doesn't exist anymore. Everything's woo-woo, and people are figuring it out that not everybody with these are human beings on planet Earth. And there's people that know this stuff longer than me. I'm starting to figure it out now. Like, I'm of the storyline. Because when I was a little kid, I'd get ear infections and eye infections. And, like, it's all inflammation. It's all heat and cells. Because I from the time I was born, they were shooting stuff into they were modifying my genetics with stuff made in a lab from the time I was in mom's womb. And then I'm watching the first episodes of I started watching the X-Files today because there was an excerpt that came across my TikTok and they were talking about genetic modification. And whenever I hear people talk about mad scientists messing with DNA, I perk up because that's been me my whole life. And then I wonder what they gave me in 2003 when I got back from Crete after we bombed Iraq. They gave me 8 injections on my shot record. Wow. It says anthrax vaccine, biotech, the company that made it. And then it says 1. But you got 2 shots at once. I got stuck twice, but it says it says 1 anthrax. It doesn't designate. Like, the military creates a bunch of rules, regulation, policies, and procedures just so people can get lost in the discrepancy of the interpretation of what the rule means. Like, that's what the whole legal system is based on. It doesn't matter if the person did it or if the lady was protecting her child and the man ended up hurt. The lady goes to jail. It's never the man. Like, and I've seen this my whole life. I've seen, like, how the system favors the jerk, the culprit, the misogynist, the machismo, the bro, like, it happens all the time. Even in Taos, if there's somebody's harassing a woman and they call the police and the police show up and they high-five the guy, hey brother, haven't seen you in a couple years, how you doing? Are you bothering this chick? Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. No, of course not. I'm a good boy. My mommy said so. And then, and that's how people fall through the cracks. And now America's a third world country. We're straight up a third world country. We live in a third world country now where people live in tents and in their little communes and stuff, and they shit in holes and buckets outside, and everything smells like urine because dudes are gross and chicks gotta pee someplace too, and they just, it's whatever's convenient because they don't have the means to live like regular people. And so now, because see, the thing of it is, back in 2000 when I was in the military, like, the that played the actors, I was an actor, and that's all military members are. We play a role, and if we can do that, just like Hollywood actors do, like where they eat a bunch to put on a bunch of weight to play a character, or they do the other way where they lose a bunch of weight. Sometimes they go up and down just to show their range, just to show the world how much they can play, because that ain't work to me. And so when I went in 2000, I was supposed to be a lineman. Thank God I wasn't, because if I was a lineman and then they set up the whole. See, what they don't get is, before 9/11 happened, I was at Offutt Air Force Base. We exercise all the time, which when they have military exercises, that's when they play war games. They play war games, understand? They're playing, it's dress rehearsal for going someplace over there. And I wish I could just constantly play. I hear it in my head right now. It's the theme song to the Muppet Show. I grew up on that show. And so whenever they're doing this stuff where they're flexing their might is right in America's the machismo and all this stupid stuff, and people actually die, and nobody should ever die because thou shalt not kill and all this stuff. And they do this stuff. It's this flex of power. It's this, we're in charge. We're going to pound you if you go against us. Like, we can have nukes and atom bombs and whatever we want, but if anybody else does, you know, they get their little pecker smack, because that's what America does. It likes to go around and say, we're in charge. And because we watched The Sopranos when we were guys, young dudes. It played sword fights in the gym locker rooms and stuff like that. And they watched Godfather, because that was the only time that they could, their dad wanted to sit and hang out with them, is to watch that stupid machismo stuff. And then, fast forward, you know, like, the actors can't fit the role anymore. Like, they're doing this big old America, blah, and they don't have the supporting actors that can make we can't pull it off. Like, the actors that were all fit and stuff, like, they don't want to play that game. And military members, they got more money than God. Like, these officers that retired at general, colonel, lieutenant colonel, you gotta understand, pay scale. USA Farce, retired officer. Okay, so you understand the basic. Okay, so the basic pay for officers, you got to look at that first. What people get. I don't know if I'm going to find an accurate thing. Okay, so these are for this. Mind you, this is a month. Okay, this is a month. So you have 01 through 010. 01, notes 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's $4,000 a month. That's two years or less. So 01's officers, the little butter bars is what they call them. They pull in 4,100 and 500. Okay, and then as you go up, the pay scale goes higher. So we'll just go mid-tier. We'll talk about 05. So those guys bring in $7,295 a month. 40 cents. That's for less than 2 years of service. And then 08 and above, those guys, $13,888 a month. That's almost $14,000 a month. Does anybody else see a problem with that? Is this thing on? Okay, now let's talk about over 2 years. Okay, so over 2 years, we'll just scroll because I don't want to talk about this a lot. We'll go at the over 6 year mark. So same ones, 01 at the 6 year mark, over 6 years, they bring home $5,222 a month. And then the 06s, they're bringing in $10K a month. And the 08s and above are bringing in $15K a month. What do these men do besides sit around and... Actually, they use military airplanes and fly around under the guise of exercise. And that's what they did at Offutt. Because if you say it's an exercise, then it's official military blah. But what they do is they'll say, we're going to go to Virginia Beach. And they go to Virginia Beach. And then they play golf with their buddies that are stationed in Virginia Beach. And they talk about all the young hot tail and all this stuff. Because I heard all the talk. I know how men talk. My whole life I had the misfortunate... Well, I had to take one for the female team because you got all these females think that their husbands respect them and stuff. And I know how men act when they pretend like they respect women. And then I get the earful of how they really feel because I always worked in male-dominated careers. Okay, now you're over 18. Now we're going to go just fast forward to what officers make in the military over 18 years, okay? The O1s, why are O1 over 18 years in the military? That shouldn't be a thing. But they're still at 5,000. They max out at 5. Okay, you can only get $5,000 a month. The O8s and above, anybody else gets $17,911.80 a month for working at McDonald's for every 18 years? That's what kind of haul military members are pulling in. Do you understand how it's money laundering, how it's racketeering, how it's they're doing bullshit and they don't got the actors that are fit? Dude, it makes me laugh when I don't know if whenever I see stuff on a screen, there's always room that this is fake. Even if it's 100% real, there's still a small potential that what I'm seeing is 100% bullshit, and I carry that as a knowing in me. So whenever I see stuff, but I see a lot of stuff on a lot of screens. I get a lot of screen time. I have a lot of downtime because I meditate a lot, so I get a lot of screen time in my downtime when I meditate and stuff. And so I get a lot, and so I see like our planes dropping out of skies, but they have F-16, all the planes that were made here, we sold to other people, and then now we're fighting the people. Like, military is retarded. It's dumb. Because if you look at the definition of what retarded by definition is, it impedes the progress. See, when I was the TODO. I only did 6 years. The last year I was the TODO. I didn't have to do all the bullshit everybody else did. Like, when I was in a year, they closed down the flight line to redo it. So for a year, people had to come to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, ride a bus to the reserve center down in Lincoln, Nebraska, do bullshit for 8-9 hours, their regular job there, and then bus back just so they could go home because they weren't allowed to drive themselves to work and stuff like that. It was so stupid. It was just like, it was a bunch of rules, regulations, policies, and procedures just to see who they could get to walk the narrow path. And anybody that fell out that they didn't like, they just, oh, you're uncompliant. You're not good for you don't follow rules. You're not going to be one of our buddies. But see, I could always play the role. I could always be whatever anybody wanted me to be because I'm doing the bullshit to get an education. So I'm going to be your little bitch. I'll be your dancing little monkey puppet. That's fine by me. I can do that because I got a mom that is going to need care, and I promised her I'd never put her in a home, so I got to put up with this bullshit. So I go to college and then leave this bullshit and then go live my life. That's what the military was for me, and it's like the same thing for a lot of other people too. And so I did my 6 years. I won awards. I flipped off George Bush. You know, I learned about how Washington, D.C. and Hollywood both exist to get the American people to be selfless, and care so much about that. But self will run riot. I learned that in AA, that if you give an inch, they will take it all. That it's an addict, it's a power thing, it's a control thing. It's like, in these boys, in these men that are doing these stupid bullshit on the world right now, and women too, we got our role. They're doing it, and thou shalt not kill, and real people are dying, and they think that, oh shit, I didn't even say that. There's still more of the pay grade. So you got O10s that have been in O10s, O8s to O10s, 20 years and over are pulling in 19 grand a month, $18,999 a month. That's why people don't have medical care because these assholes are bringing in 20 grand a month, and then they get all their extra bonuses and perks and stuff like that. You know, it like, that's not fair to everybody else. That people that cause so many problems, this is blood money. This is all blood. 20 grand. Me, mom, and brother lived on $55 a month on food stamps. Mom petitioned the state of California through my pediatrician, Dr. Gill, because it was important that I eat fruits and vegetables for my blood type, and that sugar and processed food wasn't good, and so could she have $10 extra in food stamps. And then I grew up and figured out these assholes are bringing home $20K a month, while people in America go without their basic needs. And every time I go out, there's tents places, and then there's too many tents. It gathers attention, and then the fucking assholes with the badges come in, and they frickin' shoo the people. People don't got no place to do laundry. I know there's a lot of freaking assholes out there, travelers. It's just about discernment. You gotta figure out who the scumbags are. Like, there's this one dude that he blocked me, or I blocked him. Somebody blocked. I can't see his stupid fake ass face anymore. He used to come across my FYPs. He like left Grants Pass to go to fucking like Rapid City, some bullshit, and then to go back to Portland. Like, people can't be quiet and alone with themselves. And this guy uses every free thing out there. That's what that Michelle lady with her Carrie and Michelle on TikTok, she's fighting the insurance company. Like, they should just give up their insurance and walk in and just say, take care of me. Just like these other these people that, it's like they do everything for them, and they're always desperate in a bad way, but when they get a letter, what are they doing for anybody else? And of course that dumb bitch Kayla would end up with Gary's best friend, because that's just a frequency of what people do. Like, loyalty is something that's sacred, and that don't really, like, I shortened my life by probably 10 years from the stress that I put on my body just to keep my old dogs until they took their last breath, because it was a commitment that I honored. That once you get a critter, once you start loving stuff, you don't throw it away. My brother told me to put mom in a home and get rid of 2 of my dogs, and that I need to go back to work and be a part of the system that he's a part of, and then he'll recognize me as a real person. And that's at the time that we parted ways, because legal system, he's a part of the legal system and the state system. He's a part of the legal system in the military. He's an Army JAG even. Like, I know who men are that hate women because I'm related to them. So I know how they treat women. And then I go out in the world and I watch these guys. I'm like, dude, and then I wonder why the chick is with the dude, because the dude hates her. Like, you are living with someone that hates you. And it's hard for me to tell if people like me. I'm not that kind of autism. Like, are you kidding? Do you mean it? Like, I can't tell when people are being disingenuous, but, like, I catch on real quick. Because people think I'm dumb because I'm slow, but I'm processing so many data points as I'm sizing people up, or whatever they are, that I'm just slow to think of all the things. But I got, like, we're in Pisces season, and Pisces and all this Pisces and stuff, and I struggle in Pisces because it makes my head swim. I feel like I swim in butter. Because I don't have no earth in my chart. I got some fire, I got air, and water. And so, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter in Pisces. And I got like high Mercury. It's like 27 degrees Mercury in Pisces. So it's like concentrated, so they say. But I have the belief that the more you are, like the deacons, when they talk about the deacons, you got the first, second, and third deacons of every sign. I'm a second deacon Aries. My dad's a first deacon Aries. And they're like the little bitches. They're like you can't teach them because they can't be taught. I have some of that in me, but I can relinquish control because I don't like pain. And if I persist, pain happens. So I'll say my piece and then I'll just never look again, kind of thing. I'll just leave things go. I let things go. I don't retaliate. I just let the good Lord take care of me, you know? Just stay home, take care of Mom, make sure she gets her snacks and whatever she wants to eat, whatever she wants to eat. It was kind of interesting because, like, we kind of live in loops here, and sometimes, and usually our loops are kind of the same. And today, I said, Mom, did you ever watch that show, The X-Files? And she's like, X-Files? I was like, yeah, have you seen? She's like, yeah. She's like, a long time ago. I said, well, it started in 93, which was after I graduated from high school, so that messes with my mind and timelines, because I could remember, like, anyway, Mandela effect, different timelines. I wonder if other people looked at different search engines, or if I looked at it from different devices, no, because Wikipedia says the same thing. Anyway, so it was on 9 seasons. I didn't never watch one episode. Like, I have heard that theme. I walked into so many people's houses in my life, and I just like that theme. But, you know, and I know who the characters are because I worked in places where people watched the show and they'd always talk about it. And I just had no interest in it. So we started watching it today. And it's one of those that I gotta pay attention. And I'm not real good at paying attention sometimes, especially during Pisces season. Focus escapes me often. I'm wearing my dad's hat today. My dad is a democrat. He's a poster boy for freaking what the government is collapsing right now. He is. He's a machismo. He used to do human trafficking. All that is like giving people room and rides at truck stops or people or whatever, you know. They call it, it's like picking up hitchhikers, stuff like that. You know, it's like, it's cool over here, but over here it's not. It's just, it's more bureaucratic bullshit. And that's why it's so confusing when I was in the military, like, I took care of the TODOs. I was the Offutt Air Force Base TODO. I was the Technical Order Distribution Officer. So for every maintenance action, we had a manual. We had an instruction book on how, and the pieces of equipment that we worked on, they're big generators, big air conditioners, because their air conditioners were flight line support, so it was all the machines that service the aircraft. So air conditioners the size of rooms, like, that you pull with the truck and stuff, and you got to take care of this stuff, and you have scheduled and non-scheduled maintenance, and that's what we performed. And the last year I was the TODO, and, like, you could do a 6-month periodic inspection on a Dash 86 Hobart 1,000 times, but if you don't have that TODO or that instruction book open to the letter, to the page that is step 1, do this. That's the military. That's why it was so stupid. I couldn't stand it, because it was just people splitting hairs all the time. One guy, this one dude, he had one of those technical orders changed. They modified the whole fleet of trucks because he couldn't cop up to not, when he put one of the tow bars down on the pintle hook, right? The tow bars goes like this and the pintle hook goes like this and it comes down like this, and then you close the pintle hook. Because he didn't do that, he just set it down and didn't close it, got in the truck, and then the piece of equipment got away from him and landed in the side of the building in the aid shop off it. Because he couldn't be accountable, they created an extra step in that, so then they drilled a hole in all of those. They put a lanyard in there with a cotter pin, and so creating an extra step. We're already busy in this asshole because I swear, I did everything I was supposed to do. They just go down with the ship, and that's why America's going down right now, is because they just lie about everything. Soldiers are paid actors, as you can see. I mean, 20 grand a month? That ain't fair. But anyway, so my dad is a part of the program that I left. I left the program. I don't want to play their stupid reindeer games. It's that show Risk and or that game Risk and Stratego. Risk. That game Risk. So I guess, what are they? Parlor games? The game Stratego. Hi, Stanley. Stratego. This is the shit that I had to play when I was a kid. This bullshit. And now I look at it, it's all colonial stuff, and that's what we grew up in colonial. They even got the dumb hats. It was so boring, and it was much different. We had a big old, like a mat that you stuck out. And I was like, I don't want to play this. This isn't fun. But I was the go-along, get-along crew. There was that game, and then there was this lame-ass game. Risk. The board game Risk. Oh, I got them mixed up. I got them backwards. It's Risk is the one that is more of the yeah. So, but I had to play both of those dumb games. I hate them. They're not fun. Playtime 1 to 8 hours. Like, I got other stuff to do. You can't use me that long. It ain't fun that long. That's the stuff. But I had to play. I learned how to play chess when I was like 2 years old, 3 years old. So I don't like to play chess anymore because it's not fun. It was never fun. It was just to help other people. They just used me so that they could get better. And then once I figured out that people are using me, I bounce out. I'm going to go home and hang out with my mom. I don't want to hang out with you no more. I get exhausted. I love helping people. I love showing people like different ways that they could, like, if people are so miserable because of how they're living their lives, then live your life different. That's the thing I say. So my dad made this, he was all a part of this whole, he broke ground, he petitioned the city, like, you know, and that's how my dad has taught me so much. He just never intended to. He never meant to. But he didn't know I was playing close to kitchen. I go to work with my dad. My dad drove cement trucks and stuff like that. My dad was one of those man's men. He drove truck. I've been in cabins with lots of semis, you know. And so I always paid attention to truckers and stuff. And I was like, you know, every now and again you get wind of somebody. And I grew up on movies like Smokey and the Bandit, stuff like that, Outlaws, because my dad was an outlaw. And so in order to spend time with him, like I had to be quiet and watch the like Best Little Whorehouse. Like I grew up on this weird stuff, so I'd watch it, and then I'd be like, this isn't fun to me. And then I'd go outside and I'd play by myself, and I'd find local cats and dogs and other throwaway critters and make friends with them. Or I'd find stuff and I'd be like, that don't look good, that's dirty, I'll clean it up. Or I always, because mom said you have a lot of energy, you got to use your energy wisely. Because if I sit there and I think, then I could start getting in my head too much, start thinking about, how things hurt my feelings. And then I might start taking things personal and stuff like that. But mom was always there to tell me, it's not about you. It's not about you. Only selfish people think it's about them all the time. Sometimes it's about, like special days. I used to get to watch whatever I wanted on my birthday. All the other days I had to watch stupid shit my brother, he's a part of the program, wanted to watch. Like MASH. I hated that show. That's why because of that show, people spend $90,000 on bullshit like Rubicon Jeeps and these big stupid cars that end up on the back of AAA trucks because they're garbage, they're trash. It's a status symbol. It shows me that they don't give a shit about people, so they're gonna waste their excess on bullshit like that because that's what important people do. I don't like people like that. I drive an old piece of crap. It's not a piece of crap, but it's an old car, and I'd rather put 15 grand into replacing every substantial thing on that ride than spend 90 to 120,000 MSRP on the bullshit that they promote as viable products. Like people sell people trash and then they have good lives because they cheat people. New vehicles are not good vehicles. I grew up, my grandma and grandparents, they used to, I grew up watching, reading Consumer Reports and watching shows like Fight Back and, all this other stuff. They like stuff like, my brother liked that, how the rich people live. So, when he got to pick, that's the stuff, and I never liked how the rich people live. I always thought it was weird. Mom dated a guy, he worked at Hearst Castle, San Simeon, in California. He was a groundskeeper for, he kept the ground, Greg was his name? Was that his name? And he worked, he was the landscaper for Hearst Castle. I'm talking, I was 2-3 years old and stuff like that. So, but he would tell stories to mom, and I'm always up, I'm sitting on mom's lap just listening to these stories, just soaking this stuff up. And he would talk about, how they would have parties for these rich assholes and they would just trash the place. Because all those places, that's what they do. They're all hotels that important people trash. It's high society convoluting. It's bizarre. What people do when they lose all their inhibitions is a side of humanity that most people are seeing now. I don't drink alcohol. Please don't hurt me with your death mittens. I will leave you be. I don't drink alcohol because when I drink alcohol, I'm allowing myself to be opened up and exposed to whatever wants to jump on board of this dimension and not getting demonic attachments. It's taken me a long time to get all these negative attachments that people, I get the stink eye a lot. I don't, see, I don't have any negative feeling towards people, and then people get negative feelings towards me, and then I'm like, well, F you right back, and then I give them what they give me. I'm trying it's kind of shifting though. Now I'm kind of more into my spectator, that like I won't watch things if I'm gonna have a visceral, a physical reaction. If because I'm a guinea pig, so my body is just made to. I just like to keep it nice and light, nice and easy. I don't like to get too worked up about stuff. That's what people have health problems. I even got my heartbeat thing, my heart rate thing over there, where I can take my heart, and I every now and again I'll sit there and I'll take it, and then I'll be like, I'll look it up. Oh, that's actually pretty good, so I'm pretty healthy. Because I don't do things that I want to do 100% of the time. I don't always drink energy drinks and go to this bar and do this stupid thing. Like, I use my time doing useful things. And I look at that as like a spiritual, like an energetic, like a karmic bank account. You do good, that when you need good things, it will be there. If you do good for others. Like, all we are is we're receivers and receptors, data in, data out, junk in, junk out. We're always tuning into everybody. Like, God is supposed to work through us just like demons are, and people would rather be the demon puppet than go out and freaking do something charitable in their own community. Like, people can't be bothered to get up. And what happens when people can't be bothered to get up off their asses? Look at America. Like, when I was growing up, there wasn't all this diabetes and heart disease, and there's always alcoholism. There's always that. But, like, and then once the alcoholic gets to a point, then their heart, that's how my grandpa died. His heart blew apart when he and my grandma both 86th at 86th. But he didn't die sober. He was sober a number of years, 20 years, some shit like that, 25. I don't know. Nobody ever talked about it. And then I got sober, and then he died, and then. But it's just another club, It's just another club. So, like, he had all this literature. Like, he was at the first AA meetings in San Luis Obispo. Like, he was connected, But he didn't die sober because his own daughter was an enabler. She just was daddy's little girl. They wanted me to be a daddy's little girl. I would never comply. Like, they even named me Margie, and there's an actual show called My Little Margie that I tried to watch because I watched it when I was a little kid, and then and my dad was an absentee dad, and then I grow up and I watched this show, and I was like, dude, what kind of weird shit is this? Like, I didn't go that route. I didn't go with the program. I went with nature. I went with the way of the spirit, not the ego. I lived the ways of the ego. My spirit always overrode it. My connection to Source, Creator, God, all things. Good orderly direction. And there's a song. I don't even know what it's like, where it actually comes from, because every time I look it up, it's something new. So, the song Margie. History. It's also known as My Little Margie. It's a popular 1920s jazz standard composed by Conrad and J. Russell Robinson. The lyrics by Benny Davis, named after the singer Eddie Cantor's 5-year-old daughter. The song became a massive hit in 1921 through Cantor's recording. It remains a well-known jazz standard, famously covered by this thing has been covered like 120 times. I didn't even know that it existed until probably 2 months ago. I just looked up in Apple Music. I looked up my name and it came up. I was like, what the hell is all this? Margie became a lasting jazz standard with recording. See, because it's in a name. Everything, like who am I? I'm named after Aunt Nanya, right?
Yes.
Grandma's sister, another witch. I'm named after a witch. They're all witches. And then mom was adopted, but her adoptive name, mother's name was a Margaret. And I don't think it's cool to name people after other people. I think that's a messed up thing to do. Because they are going to automatically have like encompass the, and it's like an expectation that they put on people. Like you name people after people, it's like, oh, it's like a heavy load. What do you? I gotta act like them? What? Like, what's the expectation? Like I can never do nothing bad because I don't want to disappoint them. Like I don't know. So I never resonated with the name Margie. It never fit me. So I always went by Marge. I was all Marge. Tell them Marge. Say yeah. Oh my God! If I had a square foot for every square acre for every dumbass that said that to me, I still hear it. It's just so dumb. And that claymation stuff. Oh, Pee Wee. My girl Pee Wee. You know? Like, if we're, I see, that's what would be cool. If we could make an environment where people learned how to be, like, do stuff. But stuff they want to do. Like, when I was a young girl, 9, 10, 11, 12, I didn't want to be doing the stuff I was doing. I was like, man, I wanted to be moving dirt with excavators. I wanted to be learning how to move stuff with cranes. Like I wanted to learn how to do everything I possibly could. And then I ended up in restaurants and stuff like that because I'd be like, hey, can I operate the crane? They'd be like, no. But you can wipe this table up. You can sweep up the rice off this floor. Like, I always got this remedial tax because people look at me like I'm a remedial person. And I'm not. And so, I went on to learn how to do all these things. Like, college taught me computers and hierarchy and systems and all that. That stuff that as soon as you unplug it, it don't matter. That's what computers are. AI, as soon as you cut the source, as soon as you figure out what the source is and disconnect what charges it, it's over, done deal. See, they can make all their war weapons they want. There's always going to be people, they have to make that because they know people exist that have these abilities. They could do it up and by themselves, so they're trying to do this. You want to go outside on the bears, a pretty old woman? We're all aging so fast. I feel like we're aging so fast. Mom's not. Mom's chill. But me and Luna, man, we're racing to the Rainbow Bridge. We're just, yep. Did I just knock over all my coffee? I think I spilled it all. I do it all the time. Because the coffee gets so hot, so I want it to cool down so I can drink it. And then I forget I'm not spatially aware where the cup is, and then I knock it over, and then I'm out of coffee. So, yep. Anyway, it's getting goofy out there, but see, it never matters what happens out there, and it's so funny because I look at it from the other side because everybody's talking about all this stuff that's going on over there, you know. And I just tune it out. As soon as people start talking anything over there, I just tune it out because I was over there. I was over there in 03 when we did they're doing all the same stuff that we did, but only this time I'm watching it from this point of view and we're doing it to Iran, not Iraq. It's just they're just, you know, because I watched like the C-130. I watched the most advanced. I gave the pilot a ride to his B-1 bomber and got to go into the cockpit. Like, I saw the production from behind the scenes as a stagehand when we did 03, when we did Iraq at 03. And I always wondered, I'm like, is this really happening? Because I wake up and I turn on the TV and I turn on the news, and there's newscasters and they're speaking in language, but I don't understand what they're saying. But I turn on the TV and then I turn down the volume because I just want the light from the TV. And I got to get up and go to work. I'm staying at the Panorama Hotel. And then I got to go to work. And we had to drive like 45 minutes from the hotel to the base, Suda Bay. And then you have like a 15-20 minute walk, meander. And then, because you got to wear civilian clothes, and then you change into your uniform, and it's a trip. Because like I'm walking in and I'm looking up, and Permanent Party tells me about how the snipers up on the hill, and then I see that's kind of unnerving to walk to work, and then there's snipers up there. That's what it was like for me in Crete in '03. And so I'm on this island and I'm just doing my job, and I'm seeing all this craziest stuff, like the Marines that came in, and they were big and tough when they left, and they got back and they were just shell of themselves. They're just all shell shocked and stuff, and then they trashed the base. And then I got to go on tours because Sergeant Phillips, Permanent Party, he had days off, I had days off. He'd pick us up from the hotel and then show us around and give us the history of Crete. Because he lived there for years. And other people from my shop went to, and for Permanent Party, a dude I know went there, left his whole family stateside, cheated on his wife, got demoted. He's lucky he didn't get kicked out. And then came back. And it's always the nicest guys. Like, my ability to detect bullshit in people is I'm looking for other people that are like me. See, people stay away from me because if people have secrets that they want to keep hidden, they don't want to know me, because I don't want to find out what their shit is. It just happens. I just do. Because I'm a truth seeker, and that's what happens. The truth seeks me. When you seek the truth will find you. And people that, like, they get paid a lot of money so they can travel hither, dither. It makes me yawn. All over the place on their conferences to listen to all the important... They say one thing and they just repeat it over and over in different places. And they get to benefit and do stupid stuff like celebrate all the holidays, Easter, all the stuff. They support the same system that they talk about that's nonsense, and I don't. I never have. Of course, we got out of it because we were always on like a Greyhound bus on Christmas. Like, holidays were X's on the calendar, circles on the calendar of date ranges that we had to satisfy a family judge in Atascadero. That's how I knew it. I mean, I learned about this system. I had an uncle that retired his whole job, 30 years or whatever. He worked at the CYA, the California Youth Authority. So they never give us useful things to do. So then there's like a lot of kids like me, and then what do? They go to gangs. Because dad's a deadbeat loser, just like me, just like politicians, military. It doesn't matter. There's just like, people have kids all the time that they're never responsible before, but they get tax write-offs for them and stuff. I've known people that, like, the parents, I think the mom died. I think she died. I don't think she could handle the gear. She was a pharmacist, and she enabled her own daughter, so she would write her own daughter's scripts. And that one script was the OD is what got her. Like, she killed her own daughter. Like, I mean, like, the world is weird. And it's all based on energy and free will. Like, people choose their behavior, and they choose their behavior to cause harm. We don't want to cause no harm. You know how I know I did a good job with my little old dogs and I did right well by them? Because, like, see, I had to always be less of me so that they could be secure. So whatever feelings I have and thoughts I have in my head and anger and stuff like that, I can never represent that to my environment because I don't want mom to ever be scared and the dogs to fear me. And I'm not, Luna's the last old girl. She's still here. She's hanging on. She had 14 teeth pulled or 11 teeth pulled, and they had 3 more. And they fucked up, didn't want to do it, and wanted me to come back, so like I don't know. She's gonna, it's all, but just like the rest of the dogs and all the things we've ever loved in life, Ma, is that it's all, we are autonomous beings, and whatever is living, it's like I saw a TikTok today that said that your mom will live longer if you engage with her. And I was like, ha, Ma, you're going to be here as long as you wanting to. And we always talk about, like, afterlife stuff because that stuff is more pertinent than this blip, the dash that we live when we're on this planet. All we are is that dash in between our start date and our expiration date. We all have a shelf life. Going into that, people should take better care of themselves. And they're just chasing sensation, them exhilarations and stuff, and everybody's trying to get their zoomies inside to match the world outside, and it's just like, get peaceful inside and then the world will become a more peaceful place. That seems to more, but the other way is way more commercially, it's way more gimmicky, and people want to spend money on stuff, but you got to figure out what really matters. Where are your priorities? You know, F-350s, freaking vacations to freaking, you know, making those memories of, you're just living in loops. Your loops, other people's loops. I want to find the people that are creating a better environment, even for the people